right? So Ryan Garcia, he was supposed to fight Pacquiao, and I don't know. He's claiming Pacquiao's side was the side that, but it just seemed like his side wasn't too hot on the idea of him fighting Pacquiao, right? So you mentioned Canelo Alvarez being tossed out there against Mayweather. When we all knew it was too early.
Right.
They want Virgil Ortiz to get pushed out there against Terence Crawford when we all know it's too early. The only difference I'll say with Canelo and Mayweather and Virgil Ortiz and Crawford is Virgil Ortiz might get knocked out.
and that's true.
And that's a completely
there was no
different
worry at that point about Canelo getting knocked out.
That's a completely different outcome than what, nobody wasn't worried about, Canelo getting knocked out by Mayweather. Yeah. He was just going to get outboxed. Everybody knew that. So it's interesting to see the different approaches when you get to Ryan Garcia. And speaking of Ryan Garcia, he has some interesting comments. He gave Lomachenko his praise. And I think it seemed to be a slight dig at Teofimo just because a lot of people want to take something away from Teofimo's performance. They would say, oh, if Loma would have did this and Loma would have did that. Loma, I guess, there was a question posed to Ryan Garcia. It was like, Loma said he was robbed. And, Garcia gave an honest answer. He said he wasn't robbed. He didn't bite down on his mouthpiece. And then he won the second half of the fight, but then he lost the last round. And I'm just sitting there thinking like, well, if you get your tail whooped the first half of the fight and then you lose the championship round, you just lost. Ain't no if he would have bit down on his mouth, he just got beat. Right. And so part of it is part of it is I think they're peers, so you don't want to give them too much respect because you may be opponents. But Ryan Garcia said something very interesting, and it may be true. I want to know what your guys' opinion. He said, "I'm too big for Lomachenko." Go ahead, JD.
Here's my take on Ryan stating that he's too big for Lomachenko. All right. What a lot of people may not know is that probably about a couple years ago, these boys were sparring partners for a little second. Oh, a lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people didn't know that both of them have actually spoken on what went down in sparring. Of course, in usual fashion, when people don't like each other, one person gonna say, I got him in sparring. The other person gonna say, nah, man, he didn't want to get hit. So, long story short, Ryan can actually be quoted even 2 years ago saying that when they sparred, he was like, initially when we first started, I was bigger and stronger. And then Ryan kind of said that now, after I started getting Loma, I'm not going to lie, Loma tried to mix it up and box with me. And then he kind of got me a little bit. Now, Ryan did honestly say that, and this is like 2 years ago, he said this. So I think it goes back to Ryan Garcia knowing that, okay, I'm 5'10". Ryan Garcia is 5'10", man. I can probably guarantee that Ryan probably walks around, probably 160?
Yeah, 150, 160.
Right, 150, 160. Easy. Loma is 5'7". So I can very much picture how that sparring session went initially. Yeah. Because Loma, I would venture to say Loma may walk around, which I think maybe 145. Yeah. Maybe walks around at that weight. So when he says that he feels like he's too big for Loma, I think he's speaking on previous experience. But here's how I think that fight will play out, honestly. It's just me honestly looking from afar. If that were to go down right now in 2021, I still think that Lomachenko would outbox him. And the reason why I say that I think that Lomachenko would outbox him is simply for the fact that what we witnessed in the Luke Campbell fight, even though he got off the canvas, he showed amazing grit and heart, Luke Campbell tagged that boy way too much, player. He tagged him way too much. Way too much. So ultimately, I think Loma would be smart enough. I think he would be smart enough to figure out a way to outbox Ryan just enough to get a decision. So I think it'd be a hell of a fight because I could see Loma not necessarily wanting to trade because of the size difference, similar to what we saw with T.O., him not really wanting to bang it out because, Loma feels that power. And what we all know is that Loma does not have any power. Because even going back to their common opponent of Luke Campbell, Ryan Garcia KOs Luke Campbell. Lomachenko gets a decision against Luke Campbell. Right. So ultimately, I do see where Ryan could say that he is a little bit bigger from his experience and him knowing Lomachenko in the past. But I still, if I had to say that fight were going to happen today, based off of Ryan Garcia's defense, I could still see Loma edging him out in a narrow victory. What would you say about it, Q?
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you, brother. And initially, when I heard about him, talking about Loma was too small, I was thinking it was more so of a way to duck a fight that could potentially happen, because I like to see that scrap. And for the reasons you said, because I really feel like Lomachenko got enough skills, and he's crafty enough to not necessarily he don't have to rely on power. He had enough skills and movement. Right. He have good speed. He have a lot of experience, and I just feel like Ryan Garcia has speed. He's bigger. I give him the edge and power. So I would like to see how it will match up, and it's a scrap I would like to see. If that was to happen, because ain't nobody locked in on that.
Right.
So ain't nobody locked in. I don't want to hear nothing about an excuse as far as a good type opponent. I don't want to hear nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? If you're not locked in already on the fight, I don't want to hear nothing that sounds like an excuse. But when I actually saw the video, it actually looked like you just keeping it a buck on. Like, I didn't even know about sparring and stuff that you dug into. Mm-hmm. That's a dope wrinkle. But I agree 100%, man. And I don't really. I think it'll be a toss up. I really feel like I'll probably give it to Ryan. But I can see Lomachenko taking it also. Which is why I would love to see the fight. That's what, I don't want to see a fight I know that 90% one person gonna win, a 10% chance. I like to see fights that I have to really sit down and think about it and be like, damn, this could go either way. So I really like to see how that'll play out. I have my own thoughts in my head, and then that's why we play the game. So that's what I got, man. I don't take too much from him saying that when I actually see the context it was put in. Nobody, who knows? Who knows?
Man, I hate to do this. I'm always the bad guy. Always.
Say hello to the bad guy.
So I find this interesting, because I'm a big defender of Teofimo Lopez. I see him getting a lot of hate. Teofimo took some major chances early in his career. Ryan Garcia, that versus Luke Campbell, that was a right step up fight. I don't want to hear you may be too big for Lomachenko, because if you are, and that's a fight you can win, that's a feather you need in your cap, so you can start calling out and demanding the fights that you deserve. So he was misquoted in a lot of blogs and a lot of, as saying, oh, he's not going to fight Loma because he's too big. But one thing I didn't hear is I didn't hear him being adamant about wanting to fight Lomachenko, right? And that was a bit disappointing, because I see all these guys in lightweights, these young guys, and I'm like, Teofimo really just took the bull by the horns, and so he deserved all accolades. He gets Ring Magazine covers, all these belts. I'll say it like this: he's not the undisputed lightweight champ, because there's a belt out there. But as far as who I would give it to out of the young guys, it's Teofimo. Man. He's proved the most. He's proved the most. Definitely. So when Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, and Gervonta Tank Davis fight real lightweights consistently at the top level and are demanding big fights and actually performing those fights, I'm gonna be skeptical of Ryan Garcia. I think he's a good talent, but to put a bow on it, I think Lomachenko will pull it out, and I think that's a very dangerous fight for both fighters. But I think at this point, we get the best Lomachenko we've ever seen, because like you said, it'd be a situation where he'd have to be more aggressive than he was with Teo, and I think he's learned from that. Right. And so I think with Ryan Garcia's defense, I think Teofimo has better defense than Ryan Garcia. So I think Lomachenko being more aggressive might pan out a little bit better, and he might be more comfortable.
Right. No. You hit it right. You hit it right on the head, bro. Because I personally think that's exactly how that fight will pan out. Lomachenko would not have to worry about any type of defensive wizardry from Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is right there to be hit.
Yeah.
So ultimately, if Lomachenko is willing to probably take a few punches, now he will have to dare to be great.
Yeah.
He will have to dare to be great. And I would expect a more motivated Lomachenko after losing to Teo. Right. I think if that fight were to occur, Loma would definitely be more aggressive, knowing that, all right, I can't go out like this against these young bucks. I can't go out like this.
We've already seen how much better he's gotten from a loss, right? He went on so reason is reasonable to think like he's going to be even a better version of himself. And I think the Ryan Garcia this young, I don't know. What do you think, Q?
Ryan Garcia's best defense is his offense. He's sort of like Tommy Hearns with that.
Yeah.
I'm not putting him on the Tommy Hearns level. I'm just saying.
Right.
And with Lomachenko running up on them long punches, and that boy got a dope jab. He's very quick, and he's not a headhunter. He's gonna go to that body kick. So, with the chances that Loma take, he could risk being knocked out also. You know, I don't know. He really could risk being knocked out because I really like Ryan Garcia offensive side. He really need to be seasoned more. He not well rounded defensively.
Right.
But I really like his offense, and you know, he showed me more than Amir Khan did. You know, Amir Khan is a firefighter. Amir Khan is a firefighter. Yeah. He has great offense, but he don't have it.
And he's not disciplined. He's not disciplined at all.
Yeah, he's not disciplined. So I really feel that's what makes this fight interesting to me.
And Q, you bring up an interesting point about the reach. And the funny thing about it is what I think most of us don't trust with Ryan is we don't trust his defense. We all know that he's tall, long, has power, but nobody trusts his defense because, Q, you brought up his reach. Honestly, if you look at the measurables, really, he shouldn't lose. If he boxed the smart fight, but we all know how Ryan Garcia fights. Like, it should be a way that you at 5'10" with the reach advantage and everything should be able to keep a smaller fighter like that off.
I think that's what we all see, right? We see if Lomachenko is able to fight the fight at a certain distance where he's able to get inside of Ryan Garcia's punches, we wonder about his head movement, counter punching, and things like that. So with the accuracy of Lomachenko, you know, it's going to be if he's connecting, right? If he's able to, like Pacquiao almost in a sense, if he's able to connect with those 3 or 4 or 5 point combinations at a certain distance, if he's able to connect, then it's going to be a long night. So that's going to be one of the things if Ryan can keep him at a certain distance and attack when he's supposed to. Because like with anything, it's going to be about who's more accurate, who can connect, who you can make miss, which brings us into the next part.